8 Dark Truths About China. 8. Internet Borders. The Great Firewall of China is the vast apparatus that limits the country's internet. More specifically, its role in the internet. Censorship in China is to block access to selected foreign websites and to slow down cross-border internet traffic. As a consequence, it limits access to foreign information sources and blocks foreign internet tools, such as Google, Facebook, and more. At the beginning of July, the censorship system crossed borders and reached Hong Kong. So, as part of a contentious new national security law and allowed by the Hong Kong government, police powers now include online speech censorship. They can also force internet service providers to hand over user information and shut down platforms. Non-compliance can result in fines, confiscation of electronic devices and imprisonment for company staff or individuals. 7. Gender imbalance. Gender inequality is a worldwide issue that's been going on for centuries. But we're not talking about opportunities and treatment. We're talking about the ratio of men to women in terms of population. The literal gender imbalance China has been facing in these past few years is a direct consequence of the government's strict regulations of the decades gone by. In fact, we could say that most of it is due to the one-child policy in place from the late 1970s and early 80s till 2016. Back then, growth rate of the population in China was rapidly approaching the 1 billion mark. So the government opted for limiting the great majority of family units to only one child each. As a consequence, many families recurred to gender-selective abortion, in favor of male fetuses. Traditionally, male children have been preferred because sons inherit the family name and property and are responsible for the care of elderly parents. 6. Birth defects. In 2017, the China Disabled Persons Federation reported that about 900,000 babies are born with birth defects annually. The incidence of birth defects grew from 87.8 per 10,000 people in 1996 to 149.9 per 10,000 people in 2010. The cause can be traced back to 2003 from when China abolished compulsory prenatal checkups, according to health authorities. Additionally, the one-child policy has something to do with two. In fact, according to the National Health and Family Planning Commission, when in 2016, couples were allowed to have 2 children again. The average age of woman eligible for a second child was 35 years or more. A pregnancy in advanced maternal age could involve risks of biological deficiencies. 5. Ghost towns. Some cities in China have an overpopulation problem, while other areas have the opposite issue. Modern metropolises that seem completely abandoned. There are hundreds of ghost cities across the country, the majority of which are a part of China's larger plan to move up to 300 million citizens currently living in rural areas into urban locations. The Kangbashi district in Inner Mongolia is the most famous example. The city has been developed for at least 14 years, residential skyscrapers, a modern museum and library, and schools fill the place, but no people do. Local governments around the country tried to stimulate their economies by building move infrastructure, but it seems to have failed miserably. 4. Treatment of dissidents. Last year, the Human Rights Watch, an international non-government organization that conducts research and advocacy on human rights, released a long report highlighting the human rights violations allegedly committed by the Chinese government. With a government that maintains tight control over the internet and a lot of the media, arbitrary detention, imprisonment, and enforced disappearance are commonplace. Not to mention the increasing control of the authorities on mass surveillance systems. In 2018, the government has collected people's biometrics including DNA and voice samples. to develop a nationwide reward and punishment system known as the social credit system. Stories of alleged abuses on political dissidents have been going on for a while. Ji Cizan, a veteran Chinese activist, passed away in 2014 in police custody, after being denied the medical parole he requested for months. 3. Religion repression. The same Human Rights Watch report highlighted the government's strong alleged repression against some religious groups in the country. But since then many other organizations and media, such as Amnesty International, the BBC, The Guardian, and The New York Times, have been covering the topic. By now, chances are that most of you have heard about Uyghurs, an insulated ethnic minority in western China. The Uyghurs are a small predominantly Muslim group. The UN Human Rights Committee claims about 1 million Uyghurs are held indefinitely in re-education camps. People are subjected to totalitarian indoctrination in an attempt to erase their identity, their language, their religion and their culture. The Chinese government has denied all the accusations. 2. Executions. China is the world's leading executioner, according to Amnesty International. Since the government keeps its data classified, we can't know the precise extent of China's use of the capital punishment. However, as Amnesty claims, allegedly the country carries out thousands of executions per year. There have been cases in which China executed foreigners too, though rarely those from the West. 1. Human sacrifices. Discovered in August of 2020, a 4,300-year-old fortress city known as Shimao is challenging traditional narratives about China's early history. Research on the site, in central China's Henan province, has been going on for years, since the fortress is crowned by a stepped pyramid more than 200 feet tall. The team of Chinese archaeologists estimated the person was sacrificed around the time of the late Shang dynasty 1600 BC to 1046 BC. Archaeologists had already discovered details of human sacrifices during this period recorded as carvings on artifacts. Don't forget to click the subscribed button, and also click the notification bell for more updates for my new videos. Thank you so much for watching.